Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. We looked at this weed eater yesterday. I couldn't sleep at all last night because I knew I did a half-assed job and I didn't want to send this thing out half-assed. So I went ahead and took the carb off. I went and blew out the leaves and debris that were in the tank, so that's dry and ready to be refilled. I also removed the throttle brass wafer and the plastic stem. We're going to clean this thing up. So I'll show you what the restriction was when we were looking at this thing yesterday. This wafer was binding. We're going to take some sandpaper. This is all roughed up here. I'm going to smooth that down and put some grease on the plastic and reinsert it and put the brass wafer back in. So we had taken the air vane off yesterday. I greased that up, but this here was still binding. So I think after I take care of this, we're going to be in good shape. I didn't even separate the plastic carb from the tank. I don't think there's any issue with the diaphragm. It's just this. So I got my grease handy. I've done this before. Just over time, this plastic gets rough and starts binding. It's a place that doesn't see a whole lot of lubrication. Just removing the rough edges. So I'll put a little grease here. This will sit down in a little cavity, and I'll put some grease up here where I just sanded, and we should be good to go. We'll put it all back together and see how our work turned out. Maybe I'll be able to sleep better tonight. I lost quite a few hours of sleep. I also have a replacement for the control cable, brake control cable, the 183 281. We're going to put that on after the carburation. So let me grab a little bit of grease. I'll put some at the end and then some up here at the top. Just a little dab. A dab will do you. When you're reinstalling this thing, you see the V here. It faces out towards this tab, so you've got to stop on each side. It doesn't go like that, and it doesn't go like that. The V should go between the tab right there. I've gotten them in before. People have worked on them and put them something like that, so there's no action on the throttle. So let me grab the brass wafer. We're going to put that in. And I'll show you. I got some snub nose pliers. So you see the notches. There's one notch and then two cut out. Well, you want the single notch to go through the plastic slit. The two bumps are going to be facing you on the outside. So get your slit lined up. Just push it in, you'll hear it click, and then check freedom of movement. So that's perfect. Now it's time to reinstall. So I'm putting the O-ring in place that stayed on the tube. The white keeper. Go ahead and fish the linkage into the hole. The Z bend on the end. Okay, that's in place. Push the carb onto the intake tube. Just get this tight, and then I'll start the 10 millimeter on the tank. That way I can wiggle it around and get it lined up. I did not search out my air filter bolt yet, but I will. Oops, glad you caught that. My breather tube here was not hooked up, but it is now. Okay, I'm going to leave the air filter cover off in case I have to make some adjustments. Okay, so that's much better. I got free play in both directions. There's no resistance at all, so I'm pleased. I think we'll have good luck. Okay, so we'll fuel it, but in the meantime, let's discuss the brake cable. So yesterday we saw that it was stamped with the 183-281. That's a Husqvarna number. It'll also work on a Craftsman and a Poulan Pro. So you'll also see a 532-183-281. The conduit length is 46 inches. And the cable length is 52 3/4 inches for the cable itself. The plastic conduit is 46 inches. So we can install that now. Okay, there's the old one. Let me chuck that one to the side. There's no need to be handling it. Thread it through the factory holder here. Click the two tabs into the holder. Find the Z bend. Pull it in, put it into the hole, and then we'll come up here. Okay, I see what the deal is. I need a little extra length. You'll see. I'm just going to turn this thing around. Something like that. That should give me the length I need. Like this. Let me turn you up here. Yeah, that looks good. So since the cable was not working and rusty, the end here got kind of tweaked. So I'm going to take either some channel locks or an adjustable and bend this thing straight because it's cockeyed right now. Let me grab the necessary tool. I could put it on a wooden block and bang the shit out of it with a hammer. Anything to bring it into a straight and correct position. Okay, I might resort to channel locks. Okay, I got him. I had him out here for another project. Mr. Cluck was holding him down for me. Okay, that looks pretty good. The more you bend on this, it's going to end up snapping. There's not a lot of meat here. What I've done in the past, if they've come in nearly broken or broken off, put a washer here and then tack the washer to build up my weld. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the opposite side in, fish my Z-bend in, and then put it in the hole. Now I'll put the clip through. There goes the mail lady on the opposite side of the street. Okay. Now we got action. Oh yeah. So I'll take zippy ties. Zippy tie the plastic here. That stresses over time. It's just plastic. Do 5,000 of these and it weakens the little plastic nipple. So I'm going to take a zippy and just put it on here to keep it nice and tight. Okay, let me grab some highly flammable petroleum product. Put it in the tank, see what this thing does. So I think we had a combination issue before. Springs were a little loose, and then we had the plastic on plastic with no lubrication. So if this thing starts, I'll call my customer and tell them to come pick it up. Okay, that's about just under half a tank. Let's try it. Okay, four primes and it stopped pushing air and it pushed fuel. That's going to be plenty of fuel to start it. So we got a working cable. I don't have to mess around with my zippy dippy. Oh yeah, not for sale in California. Okay, so the only issue I'm going to have is when it starts, I don't have a clip up on the handle. If I've got to come down here and make some slight modifications, I don't have that much of a wingspan. Although I see left his zippy tie here behind to do the same thing I want to do. But mine's professional. This is backyard. Okay, I can sleep for a week now. I'm really happy. We had a change in RPM with adjusting the tab here, so the throttle grease worked. I'm happy with it, how this turned out. I didn't have to adjust anything on spring tension. I just got to go through my junk section and get another screw for that. So Mr. Cluck, Dino, and Snaky are all happy. They appreciate you coming out, checking out this Weedeater. Oh wait, Weedeater. If you need the cable, you can Google this number and you'll get many hits. I just looked it up. They're $8 to $10, $10 on Amazon. 183 281 is your cable number. You'll also see it listed as 532 183 281. It's a Husqvarna part, but it works on Poulan Pro. Roper, I think, is another brand. Craftsman. So this one was shot, kind of kinked right there. Kinked in that location there. In Rusty. There was no salvaging this 183 281. Okay, that's all I got for you. You guys have a good day. Appreciate you coming out. I didn't want to send this down the road half-ass. This is not a half-ass YouTube channel. If we can't do it right, we ain't going to do it. We may be under a shade tree, but it doesn't have to be shady work. Okay, you guys, tip your waitress and wait staff. Like I said, they need the tips. They're working hard. Don't be cheap bastards. Adios, amigos. I will leave all the model numbers, engine numbers below for your information.